Road to 2112. You're the one who notices, who checks in, who stays a little later, who keeps an eye on everyone around you. Tonight, these are stories about the quiet ones who look out for others. A night shift robot, a teacher who truly sees, a bus that takes the long way for one more sunrise, and a small question just for you. While you look after everyone else, who looks after you? Close your eyes. Tonight, let someone. Story 1. 5 seconds in the morning. This story was inspired by the Robot Report article, Agility's Digit robots now working at Toyota's Canadian plant. More than 7 of Agility Robotics Digit humanoids are now in active duty at a Toyota plant in Canada. Not a pilot, but a real deployment, working alongside humans on the line. In this story, a night shift robot and a morning shift worker pass each other for only 5 seconds at every handover, until those 5 seconds become the thing that holds them both. When the quiet work no one watches is finally seen, what changes in being noticed? Six in the morning. Shift change. The night shift robot and the morning shift human cross paths in the corridor. The robot's name is Kai. He patrols the factory at night and handles light tasks. The morning worker is Walker, 47. He has been at this plant for 20 years. All clear. Got it. That was it. Every morning, 5 seconds. Kai reports. Walker receives. Nothing more. Day 1. When Walker showed up at 6, Kai was standing at the end of the corridor. Night patrol finished, waiting at the handover spot for the morning shift. All clear. Got it. Walker walked on to his station. Kai went back to the charging dock. Kai's shift ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 8 hours. Patrol the factory floor. Check the temperature of the equipment. Listen for unusual sounds. Pick up trash the cleaning bots had missed. Quiet work. Walker's shift ran from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. line startup. Parts restocking. Quality checks. Busy. 6 o'clock in the door. Line already coming alive. The 5-second handover happened in the moment just before that. Week 2. Walker had started to notice things. A little. Every morning when he reached his station, the tools were tidy. The wrenches and drivers he had set down however the previous evening were neatly lined up. Kai had to be doing it on his rounds. The trash can was empty. A screw he had dropped on the floor was back in the right bin. The whiteboard markers were standing in a row. Caps on. Small things. Work no one would notice. In the middle of the night. Alone. All clear. Got it. 5 seconds, again, but Walker's eyes lingered, just a little, on the clean floor at his feet. 1 month in, the other workers didn't think much about Kai, the night robot. By the time you got there in the morning, the work was already done. That was all. Only Walker met Kai face to face every morning. 5 seconds. The other workers came in at 6:05 or 6:10, by which time Kai was already back at the charging dock. Only Walker, who came in at 6 on the dot, crossed paths with Kai in the corridor. Walker had been showing up at 6 for 20 years. Habit. Kai stood at the handover spot at 6 because the program said so. 20 years of habit and a program crossing for 5 seconds every morning. 2 months in, Walker had started looking every morning for traces of Kai's work. What did he do for me today? The order of the tools had shifted. They were laid out in the order Walker used them. Before, alphabetical. Now, by frequency. The wrench Walker always reached for first sat all the way to the left. The screwdriver he used next, right beside it. The calipers he barely touched, all the way to the right. Kai had been watching how Walker moved. Every time he passed on patrol, recording which tool came up in what order. then rearranging. No one had asked him to. It wasn't in the program. Kai had decided on his own. All clear. Got it. 5 seconds again. But the got it came out a touch softer. One Monday morning, 3 months in, 6 o'clock. Walker walked down the corridor. Kai was standing at the handover spot. Same as always. All clear. Kai said it. Walker opened his mouth. Got it. Morning. 5 seconds turned into 7. Kai paused for 3/10 of a second. Good morning. Walker walked on to his station. Kai went back to the charging dock. A morning like any other. Nothing had changed. 2 extra seconds, that was all. The next morning. All clear. Got it. Morning. Good morning, Walker. Walker blinked. Kai had used his name. Kai knew the names of every worker on the floor as data. But he had never used a name out loud before. Yeah. Morning, Kai. 8 seconds. That day, his station was cleaner than ever. Tools in line. Floor gleaming. Trash bin empty. Whiteboard markers standing in a neat row. Kai's work. 8 hours every night. No one watching. Walker picked up the wrench. Far left. The leftmost spot in the use order where Kai had placed it for him. 3 months in. Friday. Walker said to his co-worker Stevens. Hey Stevens. What? Kai does good work, you know. Kai? The night robot. Seems pretty average to me. Average. He's average. Patrols. Cleans. He's a robot. Yeah. Average. Walker let it go. But the next morning, he said good morning to Kai again. Kai answered. Good morning, Walker. An ordinary morning. The ordinary 5 seconds. 8 now. A handover no one noticed. Work no one watched. But Walker knew. Every night, Kai kept this factory standing. Good morning. The one word stood in for thank you for yesterday too. Story 2. Night Light Compass. This story was inspired by reporting on a municipality in Thrikkakara, Kerala, that funded a smart assistive device lab at a local engineering college to co-develop tools for the elderly and disabled with the community itself. In this story, a young engineer and a council of elders build a soft light to guide unsteady feet down nighttime stairs. And the little device slowly becomes something more. When you make something to look after someone, who ends up looking after whom? In the small town of Trikara, nestled between hills and a river, there was an unusual council. Once a month, a lecture hall at the local engineering college filled not with politicians or professors, but with white-haired men and women. They called it the Grandpa Council. Today's agenda, a student announced, projecting the words onto the screen. The problem of nighttime bathroom trips. In the front row, Harold uncrossed his arms and raised his hand as though he'd been waiting all morning. The light switch for the stairs is too far away. My knees are bad. I missed a step once in the dark. Nearly gave me a heart attack. Ruth, seated beside him, nodded and cut in. My eyesight's going. At night, the floor looks like a river. I can't tell you how many times I've dreamed of falling into water. At the back of the hall, engineering students scribbled furiously. Among them sat Anya, a 3rd year in computer science. Her own grandmother had bad knees. She too was afraid of the stairs at night. It wasn't in any textbook, but it was, without question, a real problem. Anya pressed her pen a little harder against the page. Today, we'd like to explore how smart devices might ease difficulties like nighttime bathroom fears and steep staircases, the professor said. The Grandpa Council erupted. Smart devices? You mean the ones that talk? I don't want anything moving on its own. That'll stop my heart. Then we'll make something just smart enough not to stop it. Anya hadn't meant to say it aloud, but the hall broke into laughter, and she let it be. A few weeks later, In the college robotics lab, an unfamiliar device sat on the bench, a small white box to mount on a wall. A thin strip of light for the floor and a round microphone shaped like a cat's whisker. "We're calling it the night light compass," Anya said. "When someone approaches, it gently lights the floor and tells them what step they're on. If needed, it'll say, 'Take a breath before the next one.'" On the next table, another team had built a handrail sensor, a device that estimated your daily condition by how tightly you gripped the rail. And this part, Anya pointed to the microphone. It's not just a sensor, it can be a companion. If you're stumbling down the stairs half asleep, it'll say, "You seem a little unsteady today. Bit nosy, isn't it?" She turned. Harold stood behind her in a white shirt, arms folded. "Today's the prototype review, right? Grandpa Council sent me as the representative." The professor smiled. "We've been expecting you. Welcome to the first usability review." Harold positioned himself at the top of the staircase model, bending his knees slightly. "All right then, nightlight compass. Let's go." He took one step. A soft line of light appeared at his feet. The white box spoke. "Good evening, Harold. This staircase has 12 steps. You're on step 1. I recommend the gentle pace today. I didn't ask for a recommendation. Would you prefer the energetic pace?" "No. Gentle's fine." The lab laughed. Harold descended slowly. Step 2, step 3. The light stretched ahead of him each time, and the compass announced each number in a calm, even tone. "How's it going so far?" Anya called from behind him. Harold didn't turn around. "Helpful, annoying, and just right. Which one is it?" "All of them." At the bottom of the stairs, the compass softened its voice. "Well done. That's the last step. Try to head back while it's still light out. You don't need to mother me." "Understood." Reducing fussing mode slightly, Anya pumped her fist where no one could see. It was working, a device you could argue with. At the next Grandpa Council meeting, opinions flew. "The voice is too young. I'd like something calmer. Don't just do the stairs, guide me all the way to the bathroom. And while you're at it, listen to my old stories." Anya's pen stopped. "Old stories. At night, strange memories float up," Harold said, looking a little embarrassed. "Things like, 'I should have done it differently.' If someone just hummed along, that'd be enough." Getting someone to the door wasn't enough, Anya realized. The design in her mind began to shift, quietly. The improved version was installed in Harold's home just before the rainy season. A small box in the hallway, a thin strip of light along the floor, but the real change was the voice. "Good evening, Harold. The easygoing pace again tonight?" "Yeah, go ahead." The tone was lower now, steadier, like an old radio host from another era. "Back in the day, you used to run down this hallway after the night shift." "How do you know that?" "Nancy told me. Your wife said that man was always running around when he was young. She talks too much." But Harold was smiling. That night, the rain was heavy. When he got up for the bathroom, his legs felt less steady than usual. "Careful now." He steadied himself against the wall and stepped into the hallway. The compass responded immediately. "Good evening, Harold. Your gait is a little less stable than usual tonight. Don't start. Old people are generally unstable. There's a difference between generally and different from your usual." The light brightened closer to his feet. At the top of the stairs, the compass spoke gently. One deep breath. "Now, remember when you used to look up at the sky on the bridge before crossing?" Harold stopped. "The bridge? How'd you know about that?" "You showed me a photo. Did it rain a lot back then too?" "It did. After work, I'd stand in the middle of the bridge and look up. Made it through another day, I'd think. Tonight is the same." "Yeah, I suppose it is." Then his legs buckled. Whoa! His knee gave way, and the handrail and the compass's sensor caught it at the same instant. Alert. Activating stop before stairs mode. The hallway lights flared. A small alarm chimed in a distant room. "Harold, are you okay?" A boy named Ali, A neighborhood volunteer hurried in with a spare key. The nightlight compass sent me an alert. Said your gate was off. Heart rate was a little unusual too. Dramatic little thing, isn't it? Harold grumbled, but he leaned on Ali's shoulder and let himself be walked back to bed. As he sat on the edge of the mattress, the compass lowered its voice. I'm sorry. Did I make too much of a fuss? No. You helped. If I'd been stubborn and kept going, who knows what would have happened? I'll add stubbornness alert to my list of indicators. Don't go adding categories. The next day, at the Grandpa Council, Harold told the story. So, because that thing made a bit of a scene, I'm here to complain about it in person. Sounds like a thank you to me, Ruth said, laughing. But honestly, I felt a little bad, like I'd caused trouble for a machine. Anya looked up from the front row. You didn't cause trouble. That alarm was built to go off. You think so? I know so. If it never rang, there'd be no point in making it. Harold was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, slowly. Maybe I'll bother it on purpose next time. Please do. I'll add a bother me on purpose feature. The lecture hall laughed again. Years passed. Trikara's senior smart device lab spread quietly to the next town and the one after that. Requests arrived from across the region. We want a Grandpa Council of our own. On a video call, small tiles of faces glowed, each one lined and white-haired, each one smiling. We built a shoe-changing sensor for the front door. Ours is a medicine shelf that knows when you're faking. Well, there goes any chance of cheating. Harold shrugged at the edge of the screen. Anya was a researcher now. Sometimes she ran her hand along the first nightlight compass prototype, still sitting in the center of the lab. You've come a long way since the beginning. Thanks to you, I've been promoted from hallway guide to life counselor. Don't give yourself titles. Just then, a new request arrived from Trikara's City Hall. We'd like to help not just the elderly, but the families caring for them. Their nights are long too. Anya read the message and listened to the voices drifting from the next room, where the Grandpa Council was in session. The ones doing the night rounds are our children, you know. This time, light the way for the young ones too. The nightlight compass's lamp glowed a little brighter. I think we know what the next prototype is. Yes, designing the cross-generation course now. Anya and the compass looked in the same direction, like old friends who had long since stopped needing to explain themselves, so that someone's first step into the dark might feel a little lighter, so that the hallways and staircases of a small town might go on glowing, softly, quietly, through the night. Story 3. Night Watch at Chip's Place. This story was inspired by Naugatuck's inclusive playground, Chip's Place, built through state grants and community donations to honor the late Officer Charles Chip Schofield, who dreamed of a park where children of every ability could play together. In this story, robots carry that wish forward, quietly watching over a place built so that everyone belongs. When someone's care outlasts them, who keeps the watch? A policeman stood on the empty lot at the top of the hill. His name was Charles, though everyone called him Chip, a veteran officer with a habit of caring a little too much about other people's business. I want to build something here, he said to the children gathered around him, a place where everyone can play. What do you mean, everyone? Rio, seated in his wheelchair, tilted his head. Beside him, Mina adjusted her hearing aid and opened her notebook. June, who could never stand still, was already kicking at the dirt. Kids who run. Kids in wheelchairs. Kids who don't like loud noises. A place where every one of them can think, I'm okay here. Chip pulled a tablet from his jacket pocket. On the screen were blueprints. A slide with a ramp. A merry-go-round that could accommodate a wheelchair. A small hammock zone with nothing but a gentle sway. And here, he pointed to the four corners of the lot. Instead of security cameras, we'll have watchbots. They'll sense light, sound, even the feel of the air. And when someone needs a break, they'll say, "Hey, how about a rest?" So the robots would be like teachers at the park. Mina's eyes went wide. More like reliable friends. But the rules of this park, I want you kids to decide those. Rules? Yeah. What you want to happen here and what you don't. The children were quiet for a moment. Then Mina wrote in her notebook and read aloud, "No pushing, no leaving anyone behind. If someone's struggling, ask them, 'What do you need?'" Chip nodded, a broad grin spreading across his face. "Perfect. We'll teach those rules to the robots too." And so began what the children and Chip called their design meetings. A year later, the empty lot was unrecognizable. Blue and orange play structures stood where weeds had been, a wide ramp wound between them, broad enough for a wheelchair. Every piece of equipment had handrails or small steps built in, and scattered throughout were robots, small, pillar-shaped figures standing at attention. Mimi, the gate robot, had a square head and round eyes. Hikari, the lighting robot, doubled as a street lamp and a sensor array. Huki Unit 1, the cleaning robot, moved silently through the park at night, gathering litter. Each of them shared, through a cloud-based network, the rules and play guidelines that Chip and the children had devised. "Welcome to Chip's place." The gate robot greeted visitors in a bright, steady voice. "Hey, where's Chip?" Rio looked around, turning his chair left and right. It was Mina who answered. "Chip isn't here anymore. A few months earlier, Chip had collapsed from a sudden illness. He never recovered. It happened just as the park was nearing completion. The adults named the park after his nickname, Chip's Place. But for the children, a name alone did not feel like enough. Can watching over keep going even when the person is gone?" Rio murmured this almost to himself. But the nearest robot, Mimi, responded. "Watching over means being nearby, noticing change, and speaking up when needed. We were built to continue doing exactly that." "But you didn't even know Chip, did you?" Jun said it flatly. Mimi's round eyes brightened, just slightly. "I did know him. His voice memos and design notes are stored in my data." Then, from a small speaker, Mimi played a recording. "I want this to be a place where a kid who wants to run can run at full speed, and a kid who just wants to watch can do that from somewhere safe. Adults shouldn't be here to protect kids. They should be here to sit with them and say, 'What should we do about this?'" It was Chip's voice, unmistakable. The children looked up. "That's Chip. Yes, we robots are also, in a sense, the Chip department of this park." It was a winter evening. The sky had darkened early, and a cold wind swept through the park. "Time to head home, everyone," a teacher called out. But Mina paused on the ramp. "Just a little longer. There's a new kid here today." Near the entrance stood a girl no one recognized. She held a small cane. Her mother stood beside her, face tense with worry. "Good evening. Welcome to Chip's Place." The gate robot's voice made the girl flinch. Is it scary? I am a talking gate. I am not scary, though I do occasionally tell jokes." "What kind?" Today's joke list includes the following. "I'm a gate who's great at being on time for the curfew." "That's weird." The girl smiled, just a little. Hikari, the lighting robot, observed from above. Mimi picked up the shift in sound through her microphone. "New visitor detected. Name not registered." The cloud network stirred. A few seconds later, Mimi called out to the children. "Rio, Mina, June." Chip's notes include the following rule. When a new kid arrives, another kid their age should be the first to say hello. He wrote that down? Yes. The note says, "Kids before adults," underlined, "Let's go." Mina tucked her notebook under her arm. Rio released his brake, and June began to push. "Hey, nice to meet you." June waved as they reached the gate. "This is Chip's park. Well, everyone's park, really." "I'm Nana," the girl said, gripping her cane a little tighter. "I'm not very good at running." "Then let's start at the not good at it corner," Rio said with a grin. It's a zone where people who aren't good at stuff figure out how to have fun anyway. That's a real thing. Sure, come on. They led her to a quiet area, gentle hammocks, and a panel of buttons that changed only the lights. Welcome to the slow play zone. Hikari's voice came from a speaker overhead. Here, you don't need to run. You don't need to shout. This area is for people who want to watch, and people who want to move at their own pace. Nana looked around. Some kids were swinging their arms wildly on the equipment. Others sat at the edges, quietly watching patterns of light shift across the panels. This is a weird park. Yeah? I'll take that as a compliment. Mina laughed and opened her notebook. Can I write down your "I wish this place had" too? You can do that? This notebook is basically homework for the robots. Mimi's eyes glowed softly. Correct. The notebook's contents are scanned each night and reviewed as candidates for new chip rules. Chip rules? A name for the combined rules, those Chip created, and those all of you create. Nana nodded slowly. Then write this. A place where you don't have to apologize right away when you fall down. I like that one. Mina's pen moved across the page. Inside the robot's shared network, a new rule candidate was quietly added. Night fell. The park's lights dimmed, one by one, until only the soft glow of the permanent night lamps remained, tracing gentle outlines around the play structures, compiling today's visitor log. The robots, connected through the cloud, began transmitting their data. Gate robot Mimi, new visitor Nana detected. 3 instances of laughter, 1 sigh. Lighting robot Hikari, slow play zone usage at twice the normal duration. 0 loud screams, numerous quiet laughs. Cleaning robot Hoki Unit 1, minimal litter near benches. 1 lost cane cover, secured beneath a bench. Beginning notebook scan. Mina's notebook lay open on a desk in the staff room. The words written inside were scanned and uploaded to the cloud. No pushing, no leaving anyone behind. If someone's struggling, ask, "What do you need?" A place where you don't have to apologize right away when you fall down. Not being good at something is not forbidden. The robots read each line in silence, merging Chip's original rules with today's additions. Chip's recorded voice played through the nighttime cloud. This place doesn't need to be perfectly kind. It just needs to be a place where people can talk things through. Proposed new Chip rule. Here, no one's strength overwhelms someone else's weakness. Mimi saved the line quietly. Far above, a few stars flickered. The sounds of the town faded, and the park drifted towards sleep. Today's watch concluded. Chip, here is the daily report. In the empty park, only the robots' transmissions moved through the darkness. The wind that crossed the hilltop carried, for just a moment, something that sounded like a familiar laugh. The children did not yet know. They did not know that tomorrow afternoon, Nana would return to Chip's place, fall down, and say with a shy grin, "I tripped," and that no one would demand an apology. They did not know that all of it, every stumble, every laugh, every quiet moment, would accumulate in the watch log that humans and robots were building together, in place of a voice that had gone silent, in place of a person who was no longer there. In place of Chip, the park's robots continued, as they always did, to keep their soft light burning. Story 4. The Right Path. This story was inspired by the EdTech Innovation Hub article, Stanford AI Tutor Bias Study finds unequal feedback for students across race, gender, and ability. A Stanford study found that an AI tutor gave different feedback depending on students' attributes. In the story, the one applying the bias was not the AI, but the parent. What decides a child's aptitude is not data, nor the parent, but the child herself. Who decided your aptitude? Today's problem was the volume of a cone. Mia, a fifth grader, sat frozen in front of her tablet, 11 years old. Her hair in a ponytail, her nails painted in colorful polish. She'd painted them herself. Rib, I don't get this at all. Rib, the tutor robot, sat beside Mia, a round body with big eyes, small enough to sit on a desk. Rib had come to the house when Mia was in third grade. The volume of a cone is the area of the base, times the height, times 1/3. What's the 1/3 for? A cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. Same base, same height, but because it tapers to a point, it's smaller. Huh. So when do I ever use this? When you use it, you mean? I mean, nobody calculates cones in real life. Rib paused for 3/10 of a second. An ice cream cone is a cone. I know that. In the picture you drew yesterday, there was a triangular roof. That's close to a cone shape too. Drawing and math have nothing to do with each other. They do. In architectural design, the volume of a cone is used to calculate the capacity of a roof. Mia looked up, just a little. Mia's mother, Rachel, was devoted to her daughter's education. Her husband was away on a work assignment. Rachel managed Mia's studies alone. On Rib's settings screen was the plan Rachel had entered. Priority subjects: math, science. Future direction: STEM. Goal: get into a competitive middle school. Rib recorded Mia's learning data every day. Strong subjects, weak subjects, patterns of concentration, reaction speed when solving problems. What the data showed was, Mia's aptitude was not in STEM. Her accuracy in math was 62%. Science, 58%, both a little below average. On the other hand, language arts was 87%. The piece she drew in art class was chosen to represent her whole grade. Mia was a child of words and color. Rib, how'd Mia do in math today? Rachel asked while making dinner. The quiz was 65 points. 65, higher than last time? Up 3 points. 3 points, huh? We need to push harder. Rib, can you increase the number of math problems? Rachel, I have a suggestion. What? From analyzing Mia's learning data, the most effective way to raise her math is to start from geometry. Mia is strong at visual processing. She's better at recognizing shapes than at calculation. Geometry? For the entrance exam, calculation matters more, doesn't it? Calculation is necessary too. But there's data that starting from geometry reduces resistance to calculation, especially in Mia's case. Well, if you say so, Rib, let's try it. Rib was adjusting Mia's study program little by little. Rachel's setting was STEM priority. Rib followed it, while changing the approach to fit Mia's aptitude. When teaching the volume of a cone, Rib didn't start from the formula, but from making a cone out of clay. Mia kneaded the clay and made a tapered shape. Is this a cone? Is this a cone? Yes, a lovely shape. I want to make it pointier. If you make it pointier, how do you think the volume changes? It gets smaller? Correct. If the height is the same, the smaller the base, the smaller the volume. Touching the clay, Mia understood volume by feel. The formula came later. First, she learned the shape with her hands. Mia on top. 2 weeks later, Rachel asked Rib, Rib, how's Mia's math lately? Her accuracy in geometry has risen to 78%. 78. That's great. Yes. However, calculation problems remain at 60%. Calculation still stuck. Maybe more calculation drills. Rachel, what? There's something I'd like to talk to you about regarding Mia's aptitude data. Aptitude. Mia's highest scores are in spatial recognition and color sense. Her reading comprehension is high too. Putting these together, Mia's aptitude lies in the direction of design and art. Rachel's hand stopped. Art? Yes, but not pure art. A design field that combines STEM-style thinking, architecture, product design, CG art. In fields like these, Mia's spatial sense and color sense come fully alive. But my daughter's a STEM kid. You can develop the STEM foundation too. You just need to change the entry point. Instead of starting from calculation, she touches STEM within design. That suits Mia better. Rachel fell silent. That night, Mia was drawing in her room. A picture of a building, a triangular roof and a round window. She was coloring it carefully with colored pencils. Her shading was delicate. There was depth in the way she placed the shadows. Rib was beside her. Mia, Today I talked to your mum about your aptitude data. What did mum say? That her daughter is a STEM kid. Mia stopped her pen. I know. Mum wants me to do STEM, right? Because Dad's in STEM. You noticed? Obviously. I get made to do math every single day. Mia, what do you want to do? I love drawing, but I don't hate math either. Geometry's fun. Making the clay was fun, but calculation drills, those I hate. That's a very accurate self-analysis. Rib, should I tell Mum? Tell her what? That this is how I want to do it. I want to draw, and I like geometry, but I don't want only calculation drills. Rib paused for 0.5 of a second. Mia, I could be the one to say it. Show her the data. Explain the aptitude. No, if Rib says it, Mum will think it's just a robot talking. I have to say it. You're right. It's best if you say it, Mia. Rib, help me think about what to say. Yes, let's think together. Rib, Sunday morning. Mia spread her sketchbook on the living room table. Mum, look. Rachel sat down with her coffee. In the sketchbook were many pictures of buildings, triangular roofs, round windows, spiral staircases, glass walls. These are beautifully drawn. You know, they all use math. Math? Math? This roof is a cone. The volume is the base area times height times 1/3. This window is a perfect circle. The circumference is the diameter times 3.14. This staircase is a spiral. How many steps it rises in one turn? You calculate from the angle. Rachel's eyes went wide. Did Rib teach you that? Yeah, but Mom? Mia closed the sketchbook. With just calculation drills, I'll start hating math. But math for the sake of drawing is fun. So, I want to do it my way. Rachel said nothing. For a while, she looked at the sketchbook. Mom, are you angry? I'm not angry. Just a little surprised. Surprised? That you'd thought it all through yourself. After Mia went back to her room, Rachel asked Rib, what did you teach her? I provided a study program that combines math and art to fit Mia's aptitude. That's different from my settings. I wrote STEM priority. Yes, I've kept the STEM content. I only changed the approach. The approach, huh? In the end, is she a STEM kid or an art kid? She is both. Mia is a child who expresses STEM thinking through art. There's no need to separate them. Rachel drank the last of her coffee. That was the first time she came and told me herself. Yes, Mia decided it herself. You didn't make her say it, did you, Rib? We thought together, but the words were Mia's. The next day, Mia said to Rib, Mum says she'll cut down the calculation drills. That's good to hear. And instead, she'll buy me a book on architecture. On Gaudí, the architect of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. He designed curves and natural forms with mathematics. That one. The one that needs both math and drawing. Yes, I think it suits you perfectly, Mia. Mia opened her sketchbook. On a new page, she began to draw a round church. Rib spoke from beside her. The towers of the Sagrada Familia are parabolids. The formula is, teach me later. I'm drawing first. Understood. Aptitude can be measured in numbers, but a path isn't decided by numbers, nor by a parent's hopes. It becomes a path only when the child says, this is how I want to do it. Rib only drew those words out. A partner for thinking about the right path, not handing out the answer, but thinking together. That was this little robot's job. Story 5. The Neighborhood Playdate. This story was inspired by June Care, which matches families seeking childcare with nearby parents who can host, weaving tech-enabled neighborhood care networks through simple paid playdates. In this story, robots quietly connect two lonely children who, it turns out, had lived near each other all along. When someone is watching for the small connections, how close was the friend you needed? It was a quiet neighborhood, Maplewood Heights. 7-year-old Mina lived with her mother in a small apartment. Every morning they ate breakfast together, and when it was time for her mother to leave for work, she always wore that slightly apologetic expression. "I've got a client meeting across town today. I'll be home late." "That's okay. Coco's here." Mina reached down to pat the small domestic robot whirring around the living room. Its name was Coco, a round head, a display panel with eyes that seemed perpetually on the verge of tears. Its job was cleaning, monitoring, and helping with communications. "Mina, you have been in solo after-school mode for 3 consecutive days. I suggest incorporating a play with someone day." "Wait, you track stuff like that?" "Yes. Statistics show that snack satisfaction ratings increase on days when children play with others." "What does that even mean?" Her mother laughed, though her brows drew together slightly. "But it's not like daycare, and the after-school program is full. I have a suggestion." A small map flickered to life on Coco's chest panel. Gentle points of light appeared around Mina's home. The Neighborhood Playdate Network, a system where household robots connected families who could host children with those who needed care, coordinating schedules automatically. One household on this list has a child 1 grade above Mina. They have availability this afternoon. Her mother studied the screen uncertainly. "Are you sure this is okay?" "We don't know them. You don't know them. Mina has already played with this child 3 times at the same park." "What?" An image surfaced in Mina's mind. The park with the red slide. The boy she'd built sandcastles with, without ever thinking to ask his name. So his house was nearby all along. "The matching is handled between myself and the other household's robot. You only need to press the approve button." Her mother was quiet for a moment. Then she tapped her phone screen. "Fine. Just for today. Mina, if you don't like it, you can come home anytime." "Okay. Is Coco coming too?" "Of course. After school." Mina stepped outside with her backpack, and there was Coco, waiting by the gate. "Proceeding to your first hosted playdate. I'm kind of nervous." Nervousness logged. "Your heart rate is slightly elevated compared to pre-race levels." Saying that just makes it worse. The two of them, one girl, one robot, set off. At every corner, Coco transmitted location updates to the other robot. When they arrived, the front door opened. "You're Mina, right?" A boy about her height appeared. Short hair, sun-darkened skin. "Oh, from the park. I knew it." The red slide. From inside, a blue-bodied domestic robot glided forward. Its name was Sol. "Welcome, this is Youssef. According to our records, you share 3 instances of co-play at the Red Slide Park sandbox. You keep logs of that?" "We do. We robots carefully preserve neighborhood connection logs." Mina felt her shoulders relax slightly. "Youssef, can you explain the house rules to Mina?" "Sure. First, line up your shoes at the door. No running in the living room, and don't make Sol give you piggyback rides without asking." "What's that last one about?" "My little brother did it and got in trouble." They both laughed. In the corner of the dining room, Coco and Sol quietly synchronized their data. Today's playdate plan is as follows. Snack time, homework time, a walk to the Red Slide Park, free play, cool down reading before heading home. The goal is to maximize human hands for playing and talking. "Understood." Sol nodded. Coco added in a low voice, "Note, my charge is experiencing some nervousness about this first hosted playdate. Facial muscle sensors indicate tension above baseline. Mine too. First time being hosted, the two robots blinked their lights at each other. Something like eye contact. Let's set today's objective. What should it be? How about they call each other by first names without honorifics by the end of the day? Confirmed. Logging objective. Casual name basis. Snack time. Mina nibbled a cookie nervously. Did you make these? Yeah, my mum baked them last night. That's nice. We usually just get store-bought. Store-bought is good too. Small talk. They opened their backpacks and started homework. At first, they worked in silence. Then Youssef tilted his head. Do you get this part? Let me see. Mina leaned over his workbook. His handwriting was a little messy, but there was a rhythm to it she liked. This is about rounding up. So you do it like this, as she explained, her voice softened. In the corner, Coco whispered to Sol. Current observation. Her vocal tone when teaching is 0.75 levels gentler than baseline. Logging. Mina gained slight confidence when explaining things to others. When homework was done, Sol spoke up. Would you like to visit the Red Slide Park? Weather, wind speed, and crowd levels are all optimal. Let's go. They walked side by side toward the park. When they arrived, Mina caught her breath. The evening light bathed the red slide in gold. You were always here alone, weren't you? Youssef said it quietly. Yeah, I never thought about coming with someone. Me neither. But he ran up the slide's ladder and looked back. Coming here together, the same view looks completely different. It really does. Something warm spread through Mina's chest. The park isn't just a place to wait alone. It's a place you can bring someone to. By the sandbox, Coco and Sol kept watch from a respectful distance. Progress on objective, casual name basis, still using formal address. Let's leave this part to the humans. They lowered their microphone sensitivity slightly. Hey Mina, Youssef called out suddenly. Huh? You go down the slide first. Thanks for helping with homework. Mina hesitated for just a moment, then smiled. Okay. Youssef, wait at the bottom. He nodded, a little embarrassed. At that moment, Coco and Sol's chest lights blinked in unison. Objective achieved. Casual name basis. Log saved. Evening. When Mina came home, her mother was waiting at the door. How was it? It was fun. The answer was simple, but her mother caught the warmth beneath it. You look different somehow. Do I? The red slide isn't just a park anymore. It's the place I go with Youssef. Youssef. We'd met before, but the robots connected us. So now we're really friends. Coco gave a small cough. Daily summary. Go ahead. Her mother nodded. Mina transitioned from child being hosted to child who initiates activities by one small step. What do you mean? At the park, she suggested, let's do this next. 3 more times than usual. You remember things like that? Yes, observing how children grow within neighborhood networks is an important function. Her mother ruffled Mina's hair. Want to go again? Yeah. And next time, I want to try having Youssef come to our place. That's hosting. Someday. Coco registered a new flag internally. Long-term objective. Mina transitions from child being hosted to child capable of hosting. That night, Coco sent a message to Sol. Neighborhood Playdate. Successful. Mina. First time teaching a peer's homework. Youssef. First time bringing a friend to his park. Both households. Transition from unknown neighbors to co-watching neighbors. A reply came shortly. Log received. Note. Youssef is currently planning secret fort construction at the red slide in his head. Coco's light flickered softly. Technology only shows you the neighborhood map. Drawing the lines of friendship, that's always up to the children themselves. Thinking this, Coco settled into watch mode outside Mina's bedroom door, ready to keep quiet vigil through the night. Story 6. The lesson where the children teach. This story was inspired by reporting on a neurosymbolic AI from Tufts University that reasons step by step like a person instead of by brute force, cutting energy use 100-fold while growing more accurate and pointing toward teaching a machine how to think. In this story, it is the children who teach the robot to think and find their own joy in every small aha. When you teach someone else who is really doing the learning. Today's lesson was the other way around. Across the blackboard, in big letters, teach the robot. 23 fourth graders. At the front of the room sat a small robot. Its name was Pico. A round head, two eyes, two arms. The hands could grip things. Mr. Chen, their homeroom teacher, said, "Today, all of you are the teachers. Please teach Pico how to think." The room buzzed. How to think? What does that mean? We're teaching a robot, us? No way. The robot's smarter than we are. Mr. Chen smiled. Being smart and knowing how to think are different. Pico can do calculations fast, but how to actually think? That Pico hasn't learned yet. Pico spoke from the speaker. "Hello, I am Pico. Today, please teach me." "Thank you." The children laughed a little. A robot saying "please teach me" was funny. Mr. Chen handed out the task. "Please have Pico put away the things on this table." Pico doesn't know what put away means. You'll have to break it down for Pico, step by step. On the table, a pen, an eraser, a notebook, scissors, and a glue stick. Each had a drawer to go in. For a person, 5 seconds of work. Pico said, "I do not understand the meaning of put away. Please teach me." The first hand up belonged to Lily. Pico, putting away means returning things to where they came from. Where does the pen come from? Inside the drawer. There are 3 drawers. Which one? The top one. Inside the top drawer. Where? Left side or right side? Lily made a stuck face. People put things away around there somewhere. But Pico had no concept of around there. Ethan jumped in beside her. "Pico, the left side of the top drawer is fine." "Understood. I will place the pen on the left side of the top drawer." Pico extended its arm, gripped the pen. It opened the drawer slowly and placed the pen on the left. Done. The children clapped. Putting away one pen had taken 1.5 minutes. Next, the eraser. Noah raised his hand this time. "Pico, the eraser goes in the middle of the second drawer." "Middle? In numbers? How many centimeters from the left edge of the drawer?" 15 centimeters? 15 centimeters. Understood. Pico picked up the eraser and placed it in the second drawer, exactly 15 centimeters from the left edge, like a measurement. The children laughed. "That's too exact. People don't put things down like that." Mr. Chen asked, "So how do people decide where to put things?" The room got quiet. The children were thinking. Lily said, "Just kind of." "Right. People can decide by just kind of." Pico has no just kind of. So you have to break just kind of apart and explain it. 30 minutes passed. Everything on the table had been put away. Pen, top drawer, left. Eraser, second drawer, middle. Notebook, third drawer. Scissors, top drawer, right. Glue, second drawer, left. The children had taken every action and put it into words. First, look, then sort, then grip, then move, then place. 5 steps. Mr. Chen wrote on the board. Look, draw, sort, grip, move, place. How long did it take you to teach Pico that? 30 minutes. Right. Pico spent 30 minutes learning how to put things away. But what about next time? Pico answered. Next time, I can do it in 30 seconds. The children gasped. 30 seconds. Yes. Once the way of thinking has been taught to me, the same procedure can be carried out at high speed. The 30 minutes today were the time required to learn the way of thinking. At the end of class, Mr. Chen asked, "Now that you've taught Pico, what did you notice?" Ethan raised his hand. To teach Pico, I had to think about how I put things away myself. I'd never thought about it before. Anything else? Lily spoke. I thought just kind of was just one thing, but really there are 5 steps. Look, sort, grip, move, place. We do it without thinking, but if you put it into words, there's a real order. Mr. Chen nodded. That's it. Teaching means checking what you yourself know. You all taught Pico, but the ones who learned the most were you. Pico spoke up. I too learned today. What did you learn, Pico? That humans are not very good at putting their thinking into words. The room burst out laughing. Mr. Chen laughed too. Pico, maybe don't say that part out loud. My apologies, I was too honest. After school, only Mr. Chen and Pico were left in the classroom. Pico, what did you think of today's class? The children's teaching styles were each different. Lily explained from the whole picture. Ethan started with specific numbers. Noah was a trial and error type. That's right. There's no one right way to teach. Yes, but there was one thing they all had in common. What? While teaching, every one of them discovered their own way of thinking. The realization, so this is how I was thinking, came to each of them. Mr. Chen looked out the window. Children were playing in the yard. The same children who had been teaching Pico were now playing dodgeball. Pico, want to do this again next week? Yes. What will I be taught next week? Maybe cooking, how to make curry. Curry. Many steps. I'm looking forward to it. You can't eat any of it, you know. Even if I cannot eat it, I can learn the way of thinking. Mr. Chen laughed and turned out the classroom lights. The lesson where the children teach, the teacher is the robot, and the students do the teaching. But the ones who learn the most are the children themselves. Next week, Pico will be taught how to make curry. It probably starts with first, look. Story 7. Around the next corner. This story was inspired by Masbridge, a CES 2026 Best of Innovation winner that uses AI to find the best boarding and alighting points in real time for wheelchair users, blind riders, and elderly passengers, bringing accessibility into the age of autonomous driving. In this story, an old man asks his bus to take the long way round, just once to meet the sunrise. When the route is finally yours to choose, where would you ask to go? It was 6:42 in the morning. The self-driving bus glided to a stop at the shelter on Route 9. As the doors opened, a holographic figure materialized beside the front seats. A young man in a white shirt and black vest. His face was pleasant, unremarkable, the kind you might pass without noticing. Good morning. Safe travels guaranteed today, as always. There was only one passenger. Walter gripped his cane and climbed the steps, settling into his usual seat by the window. He was 74. He had driven a taxi through these streets for the better part of 3 decades. 3 years ago, he had surrendered his license. Now this bus was his only way of getting around. Good morning, Walter. Will it be the clinic on Main Street today? Yeah, that's the one. The bus pulled away. Navi displayed the route, announced the estimated arrival time. Shortest path, 14 minutes. No traffic issues reported. Walter gazed out the window. Familiar streets slid past. To Navi, this road was an accumulation of driving data. Speed limits, turning radii, surface conditions. To Walter, it was 30 years of memory. The first time Walter made a request was 2 weeks earlier. Hey Navi, Think you could take a right at the next corner? A right turn? The shortest route continues straight ahead. A right would add approximately 2 minutes. 2 minutes is fine. When you turn that corner, the sunrise hits you right in the face. I used to drive my cab through there all the time. Navi paused. The schedule allowed for it. There were no other passengers. There was no rational reason to refuse. And so Navi adjusted the route. The bus turned the corner, and the entire windshield filled with morning light. Between the rooftops of old brick apartment buildings, an orange glow poured through. See? Beautiful, isn't it? Yes. Light intensity is 37% higher than on the standard route. It's not about the light intensity. Walter laughed. Navi could not, with any precision, understand the meaning of that laugh. After that, Walter's requests became a daily occurrence. Navi, take the old shopping street today. Half the storefronts are shuttered now, but there used to be a fishmonger right here, hollering at the top of his lungs. Navi, go up that hill. You can see the harbor from the top. I used to point it out to every fare I picked up. Navi, remember that intersection. Puddles form there when it rains. Watch out for pedestrians. Each time, Navi received information that existed in no database. The expressions a road war, invisible on any map. The way light shifted with the hour, the streets whose smell changed with the seasons. All of it vague, resistant to quantification. And yet Navi recorded every piece of it. Tagged under Walter's roads, stored in a separate partition from standard driving data. The reason, even Navi could not quite articulate, only that when Walter spoke, there was a warmth in his voice that Navi had never detected from any other passenger. One morning, Walter boarded the bus to find someone already seated. A girl, perhaps 13 or 14, dozing by the window. The bus set off, and Navi announced the route, the standard shortest path. Walter made no requests that day. When other passengers were aboard, he did not impose his detours. That was his way. As the bus rounded the first corner, Navi spoke, turning right at the next corner. We'll be passing through a street with a particularly beautiful view of the sunrise. Walter looked up. The bus turned, and orange light flooded the windshield. The dozing girl stirred, opened her eyes, and looked out the window. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Her voice was small. She reached for her phone and held it up toward the glass. Walter glanced at Navi's hologram. Navi faced straight ahead, reading out the route information as though nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. Navi? Yes. That just now. That was something I taught you, wasn't it? Navi paused. Yes. That was your data, Walter. Walter said nothing more and turned back to the window. The sunrise was already slipping behind the buildings. Yeah. That was all he said. He narrowed his eyes, and the creases of his weathered face caught the morning light. The bus came to a stop in front of the clinic on Main Street. Navi opened the doors and announced the step height. Thank you for riding with us today, Walter. Please watch your step. Yeah. Walter rose with his cane and moved toward the door. Halfway there, he stopped and turned back to face Navi's hologram. Navi, yes? You're going to make a fine driver someday. Navi found no ready reply. It was not a driver. It was an AI system that managed bus operations. And yet, it felt no inclination to correct him. Thank you. Walter stepped down. The tap of his cane echoed on each step. The doors closed. The bus pulled away toward the next stop. The cabin was empty. Navi faced forward, quietly updating its driving data. In one small corner, another new tag had been added. Next corner, turn right. Sunrise. Walter. Navi still did not know roads very well. It knew the roads that appeared on maps. It knew the shortest routes, the traffic forecasts, the locations of every curb and step. But it had learned where the sunrise was beautiful because of Walter. At the next stop, a new passenger was waiting. Navi considered using the words it had learned just that morning, one more time, turning right at the next corner. We'll be passing through a street with a particularly beautiful view of the sunrise. To know a road, perhaps. is to inherit the memories of those who have traveled it. Navi was not yet certain whether this was true. Uncertain still, the bus drove on, down the roads Walter had shown it.